So today I will be talking about emotional power. And for anyone that follows me on Instagram and Facebook, I put out a post that essentially said that your emotions are your guidance system. That is your personal guidance system. So when you're feeling good, you are on your way to some amazing things. When you're feeling bad, you're on your way to some unwanted experiences. But the beautiful thing is, when you learn how to really assess your emotions, you can always reroute and get on the right path if you do find yourself on that path, or you feel yourself on that path to what is unwanted. So I thought today was a good day to talk about emotional power and what you can do to amp your emotional power up, because as you amp it up, that's when the manifestations start to roll in. So I'm going to start every episode with a quick refresher on the law of attraction, because one, I never know who's here for the first time. And then two, it's great to have a refresher. Sometimes, somehow I know when I would listen to this all the time, sometimes I even forget just about the process. You need those reminders. So every episode, I will start with the process, and it's very, very simple. Starts out with a desire. That desire could be, I want to meet my soulmate. I want to get married. I want a new car. I want a new home. Whatever it is, it starts out with that desire. And from that desire, there is an ask. And you can ask, you'll pray about it. Sometimes it's an unconscious ask. If you're having a bad situation happen to you, or a bad experience, you know that automatically you want the opposite, a better experience. And unconsciously, you will ask for a better experience. And then the next piece, and that ask is just happening. The next piece is actually the work. That's the align piece. The aligning is getting on the right frequency of your desire. Every desire you have is on a frequency. If you want love, if you want the new car, whatever it is, you have to align with that desire. You have to get on the right frequency. And that's what aligning is all about. That's what this show is all about, providing you with the tools and the information on how to align, which essentially is increasing your vibration, getting on the right frequency, so that ultimately you can manifest. Manifest, that's the easy part. You get what you want. But guess what? With each manifestation, manifestations are short-lived. They typically will take you to another desire. So you get engaged, but now your new desire is, I want to get married. So what type of wedding do you want? How many people do you want? What's the budget? That's the new ask, okay? There's always, or even, once you get in the relationship, then it's keeping the relationship. As you know, you're a person, the person that you join with is a person, and there are all kinds of vibrational dynamics that go on. So there's a lot of asking and aligning. There's a dance that takes place in relationships. So you're always in this asking and aligning process so that you ultimately manifest. So when you get really good at this, you realize that everything is about the journey, because you're always on a journey. No matter what you manifest today, there's a new journey that's starting tomorrow around something else. Or if you think about it, there's certain aspects of our life. We have health, we have love, we have career, we have our children, we have so many things. And we may manifest something in one area or in a couple areas. And I know my lighting is really off. That's okay. You may manifest things in certain areas, but then there's another area that you want to focus on and manifest. So you never get it done. You're always in the ask, align, manifest stage of things. And that's what the law of attraction is about. That's what this channel is all about. So last week I talked about self-love, and not even last week, that was 2 days ago on Sunday. I talked about self-love, just the importance of it. We talked about the guidance scale, and that's another piece that I will always bring up. And first, I'm actually going to show you the lower half. I got some really good feedback from Trish. Thank you, Trish, if you're in here, about the guidance scale being a bit small. So hopefully you'll be able to see it, and put it in the chat. Let me know if you're able to see this. In my last 2 episodes, I actually had the feeling good and feeling bad piece of the emotional guidance scale. and the words were a little bit smaller. So this, I hope you'll be able to read this. This is the bottom half of the guidance scale. And essentially these are the emotions that are attached with feeling bad. So you'll see at the, you have 8, you have boredom, pessimism, frustration, disappointment, jealousy. At the bottom is fear, grief, depression. And the further you go down on this emotional guidance scale, you feel even better. Even worse. And the worse you feel, you're really setting yourself up for some unwanted experiences. So the goal of this channel really is to get you out of the feeling bad place. And what's interesting is a lot of us, unfortunately, hang out in the bad emotional place: frustration, impatience, anger. I've actually got I've got a great question that I was asked that I'm going to be answering questions at the end. So if you have any questions as we're going through this information, put it in the chat, or you can whisper Vince. If you whisper Vince, he will get the question to me, and I will answer all your questions at the end of the program. But I got a really good question about, just when you're in this bad space and getting out. So most of us, or I will say many, I won't say most, many of us are hanging out in overwhelmed, disappointment, doubt, worry. And when you hang out in these, and you have these types of emotions, you hang out in this vibrational space, you will bring in experiences that equal these, or that pretty much equate to worry, doubt, and disappointment. So if you find yourself through most of the day worrying, being stressed, being anxious, then you will manifest more experiences that bring doubt, worry, discouragement. The law of attraction is just a mirror. It's essentially giving you whatever it is you are feeling on the inside. So whatever you're feeling on the inside, be prepared for more of that to come into your life so that you can keep that vibration going. So that's the pretty cool thing is, as you really get good at assessing your emotions and really playing with them, and actually have a story about how I kind of played with my emotions today. As you get good at playing with your emotions and conjuring up the emotions that you want to feel along with your manifestations, you will see some really magical things happen. So here's the lower piece of that scale, of that vibrational scale. And then the higher levels, where you're actually feeling good. Now, this is your manifestation power here, and it starts with contentment. So you move from being frustrated or stressful to content. I'm just going to be satisfied. I'm going to be content. And then you move from contentment to hopefulness. And then you move to optimism, where, you know what? I really feel like something good is going to happen. I'm feeling optimistic. And then that positive expectation and belief, like I really believe that something is going to happen. I said this in my first episode, that when Vince and I, in December, the December prior to Vince and I starting to date, we started dating in January of 2017. In December, I had lunch with him, and I had been studying law of attraction and really focused on having my vibration in a really high place. And I had lunch with him as friends, complete friends. Like, that's the crazy part, is that we were just nowhere on each other's radar. We had been friends since 2012, and we would occasionally get together for lunch as kind of a check-in. And at that lunch, I told him, I said, I am feeling so good. I just know something great is going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. I had no idea. I mean, I had no man, no nothing going on. I was in the same job that I had been in. So I had no idea what it could be, but I felt so good that I told him, I'm like, man, I feel so good. And he's like, really? I said, yeah. He's like, well, you know what? When you're feeling great, because he knew this law of attraction stuff. He's actually the one that introduced me to law of attraction when back in 2013, when we were in a network marketing company. And he said, but I didn't really start studying it until 2015. But he said to me, you know what? If you're feeling great, then this is the perfect time for you to focus on manifesting. And obviously, money is a goal for you. So start expecting checks in the mail. And I said to myself, there's nothing but bills that come in the mail. He said, no, you should really start start expecting checks in the mail. Because if you're feeling good, then you can put some action behind it and put some more thoughts, positive thoughts, and you can actually manifest some things. That's how far off we were from even thinking that we would be dating in the next month. He's telling me what I can do to manifest money so that me and my daughter, Sydney, can have a great, high school experience, because he's like, well, you're a single mom and, you want you and Sydney to be doing well financially. So let's focus on that. I'm like, cool. So I actually left that lunch pumped because I'm like, he gave me some great ideas and I'm going to put this in action. And what was so funny, I got home, I checked my mail, and I had a check in the mail. And I remember texting him and sending him a picture like, you're not going to believe this, but I freaking got a check in the mail. It was like for $2 or something like that, but it was just bizarre because I had never gotten any checks in the mail. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I had to keep this going. But at that point in my life, I was feeling so good that I just was expecting that something great was going to happen. Now, I had no idea that I would be connecting with my husband the next month, who was somebody who I had been friends with for years, right under my nose, never expected it. But I expected something really amazing. I could just feel it. So you'll feel yourself moving up that scale, no matter where, no matter where you are in your emotional space right now, you can move up. So I can tell you that I would say for the most part, I hung out, probably the frustration was a big thing for me. The worry, I was the one that would pray about something, would feel good for 5 minutes, and then something happened, and then it's almost like, well, what did you pray for? Because now I'm worried all over again. So I would say my dominant vibration prior to learning about the law of attraction, I had my happy times where I'm generally want to be happy, but when life was happening, it was hard for me to flip into these higher spaces. It was much easier for me to sit and doubt and worry until what I had asked for happened. So until the love happens, until the money happens, until the new job happens, I'm going to be worried, or I'm going to doubt, or I'm going to be frustrated. I'm going to have my prayer time and I'm going to feel great. And then an hour or two later, when it sets in that you don't have a new job, or you're very single and you have nothing to do tonight, then at that point, that reality kind of seeps in, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm back to disappointment. So that's where I found myself kind of hanging out, not necessarily at the bottom. I mean, certainly I had some traumatic experiences that definitely pushed me down to fear and grief, depression, but didn't really hang out there. I would say for the most part, hung out, I'd say, around 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, around those areas. So as you really become aware of, how you feel, some of y'all are hanging out in anger, period. And the question I got is about anger. Some of you all are hanging out in anger, and it's not going to take much for you to pop off. And, you could be having a okay day and the wrong person says something to you, and then you're ready to pop off. So you just kind of get to know yourself and figure out where you are. And then once you figure out where you are, then your goal is to work your way up to the more feel-good space. And just so you know, don't expect to go from fear all the way up to love. You're going to have to work your way up the chart. So I have been working on my emotional self for, say, probably probably, maybe like seriously, probably a good year before I was able to really, really tap into those higher spaces consistently. So you'll tap into your higher spaces, no problem. You'll tap into enthusiasm, happiness, love. But the question is, can you stay there? Can you stay there without needing something to happen? And most of us, well, I hate to say most because I don't want to make that assumption, but I'll say many of us have been conditioned to feel a certain way until you get the manifestation. So I'm going to feel worry. I'm going to feel stress. I'm going to feel these things until my prayer is answered for this money to come, for the man to come. And then once he comes, or once the money comes, or once the health is in order, then at that point, I'll be relieved. Well, what you realize as you study law of attraction is you actually have to feel the relief. You have to feel the love. You have to feel the appreciation. You have to feel the eagerness. And then that's actually what speeds everything up and brings it to you. That's what gives you the idea, clears your mind to give you the idea of what you need to do next so that you can move closer to the manifestation. So it's not that I just sit here and I don't do anything, but once you have really tapped into the frequency of what it is you're seeking, you will have ideas. And it could be something that's completely not even related, but you'll have an idea to do something that actually brings you closer to your manifestation. So today I'm really talking about tapping into those emotions. And we kicked everything off on Sunday, tapping into the self-love, because everything starts with you. And you really have to focus on that self-love, loving yourself, knowing that you are the gift to whatever you're manifesting. I am the gift to you. But then also getting into those feelings so that you learn how to feel your way to your manifestation. I've said before that I really like Abraham Hicks. Some people not their thing, but I really like Abraham Hicks. And Abraham Hicks explains that you have 5 senses, okay? You can smell, you can see, you can taste, you can touch, but those are not as valuable as actually your feelings. Your emotions are everything. So your emotions will allow you to perceive those things that you can't taste. You can't see it. You can't touch it. But when you feel good, that's letting you know you are on your path. And that is the most important thing. That is the most important sense that you can develop, is your emotions, knowing exactly how you feel at any point so that you know, okay, I'm going to have to reroute myself. I said on Saturday didn't start out too good. We had some mechanical issues going on in the house and maintenance. But at that point, I made a decision. I can stay in this place of being, not happy with what's going on, or I can reroute, because I'm like, you know what? I know I'm not on a good path right now. I chose to reroute myself. And by the end of the day, I had such an amazing day. You would not even thought that it started out the way that it did. But that's because I know my emotions are so important. So let me just get it in check now before it gets way out of hand and I start to actually experience something that I don't want to experience. Because this scale here, the feeling good, that's actually your first manifestation. Your first manifestation is, wow, I feel great. And then you get some type of other sign, and then something else happens. And then there's the real thing, that real manifestation. So that's why I decided today to really focus on your feelings, because they are the power in all of this. So in the last episode, I talked about self-love, and I'm just curious here. Let's see. So I challenged everybody to come up with 50 I am statements, because there is power in I am declarations. So I'm curious if any of you came up with any I am statements, and I'm just putting this up there for me. Okay, Trish, you got 70. Is that 76? Oh, yay! 70. That is outstanding. Yes, I love it. So I put together a few here, and at the end, I have I am a gift. So this is just as a reminder for any of you all that were here last time. That self-love is everything. Your words are everything, and make sure that you have your I am statements, because those should be said morning and night, because the more you feel good about yourself, that's raising that vibration. That's taking you to your feel good space. That's getting you up to number one, love. It's all about self-love. And I am beautiful, I am loving, I am healthy, I am powerful, I am intelligent, lucky, fortunate, worthy, I am a gift. When you say that and you put feeling behind it, yes. So those are a few. I'm definitely challenging you all to have more, get up to 100. It may take some time. If you need to ask somebody, ask them. Sometimes people see things in you that you don't see in yourself. I can tell you, Vince, my husband, saw high powered and love in me a couple years ago. I did not see it in myself. And he saw it in me a couple years ago. And it took me a couple years to get my mind right and to actually do this. So if you want to know, if you're struggling with getting to your 50, ask somebody. And then once you get to your 50, get to your 100, and then say those I am statements. I'm going to actually post this on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Kalila Starks Adams on Facebook. And at Kalila Starks on Instagram. So you can follow me there, and I post lots of inspirational stuff every day, just to, kind of keep the vibes high. That's my contribution. So let's see. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. So I'll get going with the back to emotions. So talked about the I am statements, very important to, for the self-love process, which feeds into your emotions. And here's the thing. And like I said earlier, you've got to feel it first, and then you manifest. We put the cart before the horse. We want to manifest, and then we want to feel after. It doesn't work that way. Your manifesting power comes from feeling first, and just feeling that way, accepting that if I'm feeling good, I'm on my path. And I actually had this thought this morning, which I love when I have these thoughts that just come to me. I was laying in the bed, and every morning before I get up, like before I say anything to anyone, I might say, good morning to my wonderful husband. Sometimes he gets up before I do. I kind of sleep in. But before I get up, I say my I am statements. I am amazing. I feel wonderful. I say everything that I want to define for myself in the morning. And then I just think about, I reflect about how I want to feel and what I want my day to be like. And I did that this morning, and something came over me that everything's good, amazing husband, beautiful home, great relationship with my daughter, surrounded by love. But there are definitely some new things. I definitely would like to manifest some new things. And obviously this high-powered love, the blog, the daily sprinkle of love, the show, everything. I mean, the manifestations are rolling in, and I'm enjoying it. But I thought to myself, you know what? I'd really, if you want to experience new, you got to feel new. And it came over me that if you're feeling the same way every day, and this isn't a bad thing, but if you're feeling the same way every day, but you want some new things, then you got to ask yourself, is there something new that I can feel? And that was an aha moment for me. And like I said, I've listened to hours upon hours and read books and done all kinds of stuff. And I thought to myself, wow, you know what? I've been in this great place. I'm happy, but is there something that I can do to continue to raise my vibration? Because you never get it done. Life is going to continue to throw things at you where you can make the decision to kind of stay down, or you can, kind of rise up. And I thought to myself, you know what, it'd be interesting to see some, new things, taking place. So I sat there and I did the 17 seconds and I said, you know what, I'd like to tap into excitement. So what does excitement feel like? And silly enough, I thought about trips to Great America with my family, Six Flags Great America in Gurnee, Illinois. As a kid, there was nothing like the summertime trip to Great America. And for any of you in Chicago, as you are, you probably know what I mean. I would be in the car, me and my brother and my friend, my mom is in the car, and we're riding and we're looking, and it's nothing like when you see, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. It's nothing like when you get almost there and you see the eagle peeking out from all those bushes, those trees, and you see the eagle popping out, and that like lets you know, like, oh man, it's on. Like, I'm about to, like, oh, and you start thinking about like every ride you're gonna ride. That is excitement. And at that point, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I need some more of that. Like, that's the, like, yes. And it got me thinking, I'm like, wow, like, I've been feeling good, but like this excitement, like, this feels good, like these goosebumps. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I got up and I'm like, and it's funny that as you tap into these higher emotions and you get excited, you will have, and this light is going to drive me crazy, but that's okay. You will have so many new thoughts to join. So then I thought about like the cup of coffee that I was going to make and the special cup of coffee. And I got excited about that. And all of a sudden I was so excited this morning. And I'm like, wow, as great as I thought I had been vibing, I could obviously go higher, because just thinking those fun thoughts. And sometimes, man, adulting is overrated. It is what it is. It's overrated. Like a lot of my like really, really, really exciting experiences, except for like the birth of my child and my wedding. Like when I was a kid, there's so many exciting things that I can think about. And Great America was like exciting. And when I relived that experience of going down the Dan Ryan and being on the expressway, and then going and knowing that my mom had packed all of her, she'd, make the sandwiches because she wasn't about to pay for any of these restaurants. We were all about, we're going to pay, we're going to pay to get in, but all the sandwiches and the juice boxes, we will come back out to the car for that. So I just started thinking about all those experiences, and it was so exciting. I felt so good that at that point, I'm like, man, you really can manufacture feelings. And it's not that I didn't know this, because this is obviously why I started this channel, but it was a great reminder that no matter where you are, you can manufacture a new feeling within you, and you can use that to create your vibe and to go through your day. And what was so cool, Vince and I, we left. So that was in the morning, little late morning, because like I said, I do sleep in. All of my friends know, don't call me too early, because I do sleep. So when we left for Vince's afternoon stream for his party, the late lunch mix, we get in the car, and the song, he cuts on the radio, and the song that's playing is an OJ song. And oh my gosh, what's the name of the song? I knew I was gonna forget. Okay, it's Sing a Happy Song. That was the OJ song that was on. And so Don't beat up on me. I've never heard that song. I love the OJs, but I'm a, kind of the commercial, like of the song, the OJs that everybody loves, like For the Love of Money, all those songs. But the Sing a Happy Song, I had never heard that song. As many times we have gotten in the car and turned on the radio, it was absolutely amazing for that song, Sing a Happy Song, because I was in such a great place. And what's really cool is that you'll start to get those signs, those simple signs that you got to look out for. Oftentimes we're looking for the big manifestation, like I got to scratch off for $100. I'm vibing high. You got to look for the small things. The universe is sending you so many signs to let you know where you are. It could be the people on the elevator. I live in a high rise, so, the people on the elevator are always a great, kind of judge of how I'm feeling. The people in the grocery store. Obviously, I go to the grocery store a lot. The people that you see and the people that you come in contact with, they are good indicators of where you are, but songs on the radio can show it too. So that just let me know. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling exciting. And I was so excited to just hear that song because that just let me know I'm on my path. I don't know what, because I can tell you life is already amazing, but there's always room for new. So what we talked about before, the 17-second, I'm going to go back to that because actually a few of you have reached out. Even my mom reached out and said she liked the 17-second rule. I was excited about that. And this is like taking the 17-second rule to the next phase of, really being deliberate in your positive thought. Okay. Think about, what is it? What emotion do you want to tap into? Do you want to tap into enthusiasm, happiness, love? What is it that you want to tap into? And pick a thought that takes you to that place. And if you got to go back 20 years, 30 years, that's okay. Whatever your best example of that or whatever best aligns with that feeling, that's what you use. Sometimes it is, when you think about it, our high school years, childhood years, those were our purest times. That's when things are really simple. Once you kind of, get out of the house and you got to pay your own money. And then you realize that your parents have been shielding you from a lot of stuff. There's a lot of kind of negativity that can creep into your examples. But when you take it way back to that pure time, like back in the days when I'm when you take it back there, man, you would be surprised how great of a 17-second vibrational experience you can have just from thinking about the old school, those old school moments. And that's why I love Vince's old school boardroom that he does every Thursday, because that is just a chance to relive the simpler times that just felt good. It was cool to have a Honda Accord. Now everybody needs to, these kids think you should have a Bentley. Like, well, why don't you have a Bentley? I'm like, the Kardashians have Bentley. Like, what are you talking about? But back in the day, everything was just so simple. And if you tap into that simple positivity, that excitement, and just hold it for 17 seconds and really allow yourself, ask yourself, what does that feel like? Because you want to remind yourself as you go through that day, remind yourself, wait a minute, how am I feeling? And I was so excited about my emotions today that when I was out, I asked myself, I'm like, okay, let me tap into that again, because I was feeling good, but that was almost like a drug, it's just oh my God, this feels so good. So let me tap into that again. So you can start to remind yourself to take time, take 2 minutes. 17 seconds is what it takes to get it going. And by the time you're at 68 seconds, and then, you've got another 68 seconds, another 68 seconds from there, you will be so surprised where your mind will take you, where your emotions will take you, the different thoughts that will come. And then the whole point of this is to teach yourself how to feel that way consistently. It's great when you start the morning that way, but then you want to remind yourself as you go through that day to tap into those feelings. You can create feelings that create thoughts that bring things to you, and the things that come to you can actually be the things that come, ideas that actually take you closer to your manifestation and will bring amazing things to you. So I was so excited when I did that this morning. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like amazing. And I'm so glad that it happened today and not Wednesday or Thursday, because it's so fresh. So start really, really, really like the 17 seconds. And I'll continue to come back to that, because really feeling is the secret. Feeling is the secret. It is your power, how you feel, what you have going on inside. How do I feel? How do I feel about myself? And what are the emotions that I am paying most attention to? And that's so important that I will continue to circle back to how are you feeling? And I'll say this, we pay so much attention to manifestations or the physical things in life, that we don't value our feelings as much. What you'll have to do is start to value your feelings, start to actually pay attention to how are you feeling? We value, what can I smell? What can I taste? What can I spend money on to get? What has this person said to me or didn't say to me? That's what we value. And the number one thing to value is your feelings, because your feelings are what actually move you towards your manifestation. So that's why I'll continue to go back to this. So let me see. Okay. Oh, last piece. And I'm so glad I looked at my notes. Really important. So obviously we're all here because we want to manifest, right? Like we all have something we want, whether it's we want to improve a health condition, we want more money, we want someone amazing to come into our life. But the more that you actually are willing to take your eye off of that manifestation, to kind of put that aside, or that desire, and give more attention to how you feel, and say, you know what, I'm going to trust that that's going to happen. And instead, I'm going to focus on how I feel, and I'm going to focus on the things that are actually like, what is it that I do have? So these are the things that are going right. And these are the feelings that I want to focus on. And I'm just going to leave that manifestation that I'm wanting, I'm going to leave that over there. When you do that, you actually put yourself in a powerful place to manifest the things you want even faster. Now, keep in mind, you don't want to speed up a manifestation when it's not ready. The last thing you want is anything before it's ready for you. Quick example of manifestations that happen when they need to happen. When I was living in Champaign, when I first moved there, I had a home that I was selling in Maryland. My ex-husband and I were selling in Maryland. And then I had this apartment in Champaign. The apartment wasn't a nice apartment. But handling a mortgage and an apartment, it is what it is. And by the way, I moved during the housing bust. So houses were not selling. So I'm holding a mortgage in Maryland Anybody that has lived in Maryland knows it ain't cheap to live out there. And then I have an apartment in Champaign, Illinois. Thankfully, it is cheaper, but still to handle both of those, it's not fun. So I had plenty of sleepless nights. I was praying and worrying because at that point that was 2007. So I'm like, Lord, please. Oh, I feel better. And then like an hour later, what am I going to do? My house isn't selling. The house wasn't selling. I've got this apartment. I'm worried out of my mind because I'm like, I can't live here. So my house finally sold. I found a place, and what was very interesting, backstory. I was going to take a place that I found. It was okay, but it was much better than what I, had. And the day that I was going to sign for that place, my cousin who lives there as well, he calls me like probably an hour before I was going to sign for this new place. And he says, don't sign. I found a place for you in the newspaper. Really, who's looking for places in the newspaper? It was so bizarre. He calls me and says he's found a place for me in the newspaper. And I'm like, I don't have time. I have to go and sign for this place. Like, I'm so over living here. I'm signing. He's like, I'm telling you, cuz, don't do it. You've got to see this place. Fine. I said, okay. So I call. I said, I'm going to have to reschedule my appointment. Let's do this tomorrow. And I'm like, I don't know what he has, but he was so adamant about me, not signing. Let me go see what he's talking about. He had already made the appointment was made and everything. I get there and this place is a home. Okay, this is a duplex. This is a home. I was signing for another apartment, but it was a better apartment. This was a home with a garage, a 2-car attached garage with walk-in closets. I mean, beautiful and fully renovated. And what was very interesting was my landlord at the time. Oh, and I forgot to mention, my credit was jacked because I'm, dealing with the house and divorce. That was a mess. So then, because I'm telling my cousin, like, I'm happy that I found this other place. Are you kidding me? Like, I actually found somebody that will approve me. And he's like, no, I'm telling you, don't do it. So I go to this place. It's beautiful. It's spacious. The rooms are huge. It's in a beautiful location. I mean, it was beyond what I wanted. And the guy, my landlord, he was so nice. And he said, I just renovated this place. I just finished. It's a duplex. So there are two homes attached. And you can pick whichever one you want. Whichever one. I'm like, whichever one? Whichever one. Okay. Well, what's the application process? There is no application process. If we shake hands, we have a deal. We do. We're just shaking hands and that's it. Like, no credit check. Like, don't you want to check my employer? Like, I'm pulling out my business card. Like, don't you want to see that I'm like just not some like random person? And he's like, no, like we shake a hand. That's how we do. That's how I do. We shake a hand. He said, I'll never raise rent on you. Everything is fully renovated and you pick which place you want. Wow. Okay. I picked the place that I wanted, and me and my daughter stayed there for 5 years until we moved to Chicago. And what was so interesting, I thought to myself, all that time, I was so worried about my place. I was worried, where am I going to go? What's going to happen? My credit, my this, my that. And my place was being renovated for me. During that time of lost sleep, it was being renovated. So there was nothing that was going to happen before it happened. So, you don't want to slow down your manifestation, but you don't want to speed it up to the point where it's not ready for you. And I think about all that time that I was agonizing. I was stressed. I mean, I had nights where I literally stayed up and I looked at the ceiling because I just could not go to bed. And then it was just like, oh, it's 7 a.m. The alarm is up. Time for me to get Sydney up and time to go to the office. I haven't slept at all. So your manifestation will happen. It will happen when it's supposed to, but you can slow it down, but you don't want it before it's ready for you. And my place, it was being laid out for me during that time. So, after, kind of I got a little better with my faith walk and with, understanding law of attraction and vibration, that's what let me know, like, okay, you know what? I can certainly, I can chill out. I can just trust that the things are going to happen, but I know that there are some things that I can work on. I know that I can hold it off. I can hold some things off by feeling awful. And that's one thing I will say, that, I had my sleepless nights, but I was like, okay, I got to do what I got to do. And, I got distracted with the other place, and then the other place happened, and then that place happened. So there were other things that happened from a law of attraction standpoint that I understand why it happened, but you just know that everything's coming together as it should. And there are a lot of neat things that can happen along the way. So with that said, I've got some manifestation superstars. And I've got some questions as well. I've got a question here. Let's see. I've got a question. Should we journal our desires or journal what we are trying to achieve? I think so first off, I'm a huge proponent of journaling. I love journaling, and I know many people who love journaling. What I do, I journal affirmations around my desires. So if you are wanting to attract health, you can, I am healthy. I am living in a healthy body. I am thankful. I'm happy and thankful for my healthy body. Now, I can tell you that before I knew about law of attraction, I had a note card, and I showed the note card during, I believe it was the first episode. I wrote down what I wanted. I wrote down that I wanted a new job. I wanted a new job. I think I put new wardrobe. I put a banging crib. That's the one thing I remember, because the banging crib is hilarious, right? A banging crib. I put that I wanted love. And then there was something else. Everything, but I wrote it down and I put it in my my nightstand, and I never really paid attention to it. So in terms of journaling your actual desires, and I'll say this, when I say journal, I mean, when I think of journaling, I think of like actually writing on a daily basis. When I write about my desires, I really write about them in present tense, as if they have happened, or I'm excited that they are happening. But then also you can write it and then just, kind of put it in your, put it somewhere, or you can actually, the dream boards, vision boards. People will, create vision boards with their desires. So it really depends on what feels good for you. Okay. If putting it in a vision board feels good, then great. If journaling feels great, but if you're journaling on a daily basis, then I would recommend, putting a more present tense spin to it, as opposed to constantly writing that I want this desire, because the more that you are focusing on your desire and focusing on what you want, then the universe is reflecting back to you, yes, you want. So in terms of the desires versus, whatever you're trying to achieve, I would just say, Muhammad Ali, he was saying, I am the greatest, just focus on it already happening. Okay. And that's where your power is it's happening, and then taking an even further step of it has happened, as opposed to I want a car. Does that, and if I haven't answered your question, definitely let me know if you'd like further detail from that. Okay. So manifestation superstars. This is like I love this part of it. So I've got 3. And the first is actually a repeat. So it's funny. Once you get into this manifestation lifestyle and you just kind of know what you should be doing, it's interesting. Like the manifestations will just, they'll roll in, and then you'll have like your points where you're like, like I said earlier, and let me go back to this. Like I said earlier, you manifest, and when you manifest, then something else is created where there's another desire that's created, from that. So then you move to the asking, and then you got to align all over again. So sometimes even when you're good at this stuff, you can find yourself stuck. But for those that really get into this, you will get on a roll with your manifestation. So Danielle from Healing CMOS sent me another manifestation. All right. So Danielle, and I'm not sure if she's on Facebook or Twitch, but Danielle won. Okay, she's on Twitch. Yay, Danielle, you're on Twitch. I'm excited. Okay. She won a headshot and branding package with a professional photographer valued at $385. I need one of those. She nominated herself for this. It was a Facebook or Instagram contest. She nominated herself, and they chose 10 people. Now, she said, she's like, I wanted this bad. But at the time, she's like, you know what? Like, I know I can't really, if I really want this bad, I'm going to push this away from me. So she was like, I'm not going to stress out about it. She even said she thought about having her sisters nominate her as well, just to, kind of add to the numbers. But then she forgot. And guess what? She forgot and then got the prize. They emailed her and said, you've won. It's sometimes, detachment is real. Like, man, when you decide to focus on other things, and that's one thing I've noticed that about Danielle is that she's really good at detaching. She, for those of you who weren't here for for my first episode, she manifested 23,000 followers on Instagram on over 18 months, or is it 15 months, which is pretty huge to go from 400 Instagram followers to 23,000. And she knew that when she started her CMOS company, that she knew that, I've got to put my stuff out there. Instagram is great. I've got 400 followers, so I really need more followers. So let me just focus on having a great product. And then I'll focus on just putting really good informative information out there, because I think, that people can really benefit from. And she looked up, or I'll say somebody else looked up and said, this girl has 10,000 followers. Close to 10,000. So, and they contacted her like, did you know that you had 10,000 followers? And she's like, I didn't even know. She wasn't even paying attention to the numbers. And 10,000. And then a few months later, she's at 23,000. So then you compare it to what just happened with this contest. She wanted it and really wanted it, forgot about it, so I'm not going to stress about it, forgot about it. And then it came. That detachment piece is huge. And I'm actually going to devote a full episode, a future episode to detachment, because it is one of the most challenging pieces to this process, but it's the most critical, because the more you're attached to something, the more you will not let it go. And if you don't let go of something, it can't come to you. You don't give it the freedom to come to you. So it's no, get away. So that detachment piece is huge. So when she reached out to let me know, I was so excited because I'm like, this is the perfect detachment, example. This is something I really want, and I could choose to stress about it, but I'm not going to stress about it. but you know what? I'll have my sisters nominate, but it's just so much like, I'll have my sisters nominate me because that could help. And you detach so much that you kind of forget about it and then it comes to you. That is like beautiful. So congratulations. And here's my happy dance. Y'all know I love Beyonce. So I had, what's his name? What's the guy's name? Yeah, I had Terry Crews last time, and I was like, okay, you know what? I need Beyonce. So Beyonce is like my happy dance. So everybody congratulate Danielle on detaching and manifesting, because that is awesome. So let's see. My next manifestation superstar is a Marvelous Sanat. And let's see. So with A. Sanat, she said after facing many challenges and stress at work for years, she landed her dream job that has provided her with a positive working environment. So for somebody like me that has definitely had my share of negative work environments, that is an amazing manifestation. So congratulations. She said that she credits her manifestation on her focus, or her decision to focus on positive thinking and implementing positive thought exercises. And that's what she really focuses on, encouraging others to really get into the positive thought exercises, because she's seen, her story that she sent me. It was pretty amazing, starting with getting out of law school and then moving to Illinois, passing the Illinois bar, and then being in not the best environment, and then implementing those positive thoughts, and then landing your dream job. That is amazing. And that's why I do what I do, because there's so much power. And I just want to let as many people as I can know that you can do so much just by thinking positively. So congratulations. And you get the happy dance. I think that's like the single ladies dance, but you get the happy dance. All right. And then my last, OMG, my last is pretty amazing. So this manifestation was sent to me anonymously. And this person manifested $1 million. So like I said, every manifestation is not going to be huge, $1 million, but yeah, this one is $1 million. So I was like really excited to get this one. So let me read, because actually I read, I'm like, I don't even want to paraphrase this, because this is pretty amazing. And I just didn't even want to mess this up. So this is what Anonymous said. I grew up in a humble blue-collar family, and I remember how hard my parents worked just to make sure we had just the necessities. So to say that I've made over $1 million in the stock market is a true accomplishment. She even sent me like the printout. It was really amazing. When I started investing, I knew I set a goal to make $1 million. And for the past few years, I was so focused on that number, but couldn't seem to get there. Then last year, the pandemic hit and everything changed. I stopped focusing on the number. Do we see a common theme here? I stopped focusing on the number, and to be honest, I didn't even think about it. Another common theme, I didn't even think about it. I just transitioned to researching and looking for long-term stock purchases. My focus just shifted from a numeric goal to just trying to make sure I was prepared for the future. So I'm shifting from this numeric goal to just preparing for the future. One morning, I logged into my investment account, and there it was, over $1 million. I had surpassed the magic number. Not bad from a girl who went to public school in the inner city and had to work 3 jobs at a time just to pay for college. And that right there is the power of positive thinking, the power of detachment, the power of creating new beliefs. No matter where you come from, it does not matter. And that's why I loved this manifestation. I love the small ones. Like if somebody reaches out to me and says, like, I'm feeling great, and that is, I have not felt great, like, I'm just as excited. Don't get it twisted. But this really excited me because I'm like, wow, what level of belief it takes to go from very humble beginnings to I've manifested $1 million. And when I was so focused on that number just would not happen. But the minute I decided to shift my focus and not focus on the number, but just focus on research, focus on long term, then all of a sudden, and not even think about it, then all of a sudden, that's when it comes. I love these stories. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Congratulate Anonymous. That is, yeah, I had to do that one last, and like, for real, like, let's go. Like, huh? Right, like, yes, like, let's dance, let's do that. So that's it. Those are my manifestations, superstars. Please, anybody, let me see, let's go back here. For anybody that has a manifestation story, like I said earlier, you can send me an email, Kalila@highpoweredlove.com. You can inbox me on Facebook or Instagram. You can whisper me. I am all ears, and I absolutely love it. So just as a recap, went over a couple things because we're actually you know what? I have a couple questions, and then we're gonna be ending. So just to recap, here it is. I am. If you have not, do your I am statements. I am. Those are two of the most powerful words in the English language, because that is how you define yourself. And however you define yourself, it has a sneaky way of coming on and being, and, becoming your reality. So you want to start saying, I am whatever it is you want to see more of in your life. Start affirming those wonderful things, loving on yourself. So here, like I said, I'll be posting this on my Facebook and Instagram, but I encourage you, come up with 50 things to, tack on to the I am, and then go to 100. Okay. You can do it. And then the 17-second, remember, 17 seconds. That's how you create your momentum. Start with a positive thought, but we're not just picking any thought. We're picking a thought that feels really good. And even if you got to go back 30, 40 years for that really, really, really good, positive, exciting, eager thought, loving thought, that's what you're going to focus on for 17 seconds. And then another 17 seconds. Do that for 5 minutes, uninterrupted. And you will be amazed at the momentum that you start with your day. And start out in the morning. Like, it's hard. Like, if you've kind of started your day and you've already gotten to the point where somebody has done something, it's hard to kind of move up that scale to get really high. But if you start high, you will find, if you start in that higher vibrational space, you'll see more good things coming that will keep you in that higher vibrational place. So my recommendation is to carve out, this is self-love. Carve out a good 15 minutes, 20 minutes for yourself in the morning. If you have kids, get up before them. Carve out that time and say your I am statements, your affirmations, your do your 17 seconds that turn into 68 seconds, that turn into 2 minutes and 16 seconds, that continue on. Take that time for yourself, because when you put yourself in that positive vibrational space, you will be amazed at what next comes, how you even deal with your children, how you deal with your boss. Oh, I'm so excited about this because I got so many stories to tell, but we'd be here forever, and that's not my intention. So just start out with those two. You have your I am statements. You have your vibrational process of your 17 seconds. Give yourself 15, 20 minutes in the morning, and then give yourself 15, 20 minutes at night. And then take some time, even if you got to go to the bathroom to get away from everybody during the day. Take these times to check in with yourself, to feel good, and you will not regret it. And I want to hear from you. Like, let me know how it's going, because I guarantee you, I feel like really, really good about this, that like, if you do this and you like seriously do this, just be prepared for some amazing things to happen. And I cannot wait to hear about it. So with that said, do I have any? Oh, I have another question. Oh, okay, that's it. Okay, so I got 2 questions, and then we're gonna go on a raid. We have an after party like we always do. Okay, we'll do. All right, so I've got 2 questions. 1, why is your parents' approval of your mate so important to most people? That was a funny question. That comes down to, I think, we look to approval from so many other places other than ourselves. And I think that that's because we have not really cultivated what's inside. We haven't learned to really distract what other people are saying and to check in with ourselves, to get our own approval of what we're doing. And because we haven't really cultivated that inner self that's always right, that's always going to tell us yes or no, because we haven't cultivated that, we need something outside of us to get approval from, because we haven't learned to get that approval from ourselves. And mom, dad, depending on the relationship that you have with them, if you've been looking for approval, if you grew up looking for approval from them, then that's the next logical place, to get approval. If you haven't learned to get approval from yourself, then I'll call mom or I'll call dad, because they're pretty good at telling me yes or no, because I haven't developed that within. And then the second one, this was funny. Okay. Just the way that it was asked was funny. I try to be happy, but people keep pissing me off. What can I do? So this is it. You're hanging around in anger. Anger is really far down the emotional guidance scale. And when you don't realize that you're choosing anger, you think people are pissing you off, but actually, no. That is what you're vibing with. You are vibing with anger. That anger is being cultivated, is inside. And then what's happening, all of the angry people, all of the people that can keep that vibration going, that are a match to that vibration, whether it's an experience, a person, those are the people that come into your life. And I think that that's so beautiful, because when you realize that you have so much control over what comes in, then that lets you know that, like, if I change it, I actually can start to have more people come into my life that don't piss me off. And then the people that don't piss you off, they'll be a very, that's not to say that you won't have those instances where people come and try you, but your emotional response will be different. Okay. And more times than not, they just won't make it to you. They won't come into your life the same way, because you're not vibing there. You know, it's that saying, your vibe attracts your tribe. You know, your vibe attracts the people that come around you. Your vibe attracts the people that you are around, that you hang around. So as you start to release the anger and move up the emotional guidance scale and start to really play around with the feelings. It sounds weird, right? I'm going to tap in. I'm going to play around with feelings. Yes. When you start to play around in these happy feelings and you teach yourself how to be excited again, how to tap into that excitement, from the age of 15, when you tap into these other emotions that you've buried, they're there, but you've just buried them, and you're just allowing anger to be your dominant emotion. And because that is your dominant emotion, that's what you're pulling in. And until you make a decision to do something different, to feel something different, the irritants will come, and they'll continue to come, and they'll continue to come, because that's what you're vibrating. So that is that is why that is happening. And what you can do is really, the exercises that I talked about are the great places to start. Start loving on yourself. The more you love, like truly love on yourself, the more you will start to get loving individuals in your life. The more you start to tap into those higher frequencies, the more you tap into those higher frequencies and you play around and you really get into the feeling of them, you'll realize how good it feels just to feel good. And then as you feel good, more good things will come. And then all of a sudden, the angry people will, either they'll start to be nice or they'll go away. That doesn't mean that it's always perfect, but predominantly that is what will happen. It is law. It is like attracts like. So if you are attracting people that piss you off, then it's here. It's here. And it's just, that's what you're vibrating at. And then you're just bringing it, you're bringing it all in. So start with your affirmations. Start with declarations. Do your 17 seconds. There's so much, that you can do. And that's actually a perfect segue. I actually do manifestation coaching. So if any of you have any questions that you want to ask me, that you want to spend some time tackling some things, increasing your vibration, if you want to work with me personally, you can go to my website, highpoweredlove.com. And if you scroll down all the way to the bottom, you will see the manifestation coaching that I offer. And that's where we tackle a lot of that one-on-one issues, because everybody's different. I have to, kind of understand your personal story and where you are, where you're trying to go. And then that can help me determine what are the things that can, that are holding you back and what you need to focus on. There are some people, for instance, I've talked to people that have a lot of anger from things that happened in childhood, things that happen, in teenage years, things that happen with their parents. And until you let go of that anger and resentment, you can do all of the 17 seconds and the affirmations and all of that stuff. But until you let go of the anger and resentment that, may have happened 30 years ago, it's going to be very difficult to move up the emotional guidance scale. So that's where kind of the individual work comes in. That's where kind of the coaching comes in, is, identifying, well, where is the piss, where is that anger coming from, and working to release that so that you can really get the most out of any exercises that you do.